From the very first Rumbleverse Season 2 roadmap, they've been leaking content right underneath your nose. You might have seen the first roadmap back shortly after Season 2 launched. It was awesome to see. You love to see a roadmap. You loved a little hint at what's to come. And then we had trios recently, where we hit our first milestone. We got even more info. We got new item, we got a new perk in the form of the popcorn grenade and called it Trickster. That'll make sense in a second. Pocket Dimension is the new perk. And people love trios so much so I think Keith said they're going to be coming back in January. So overall, people are liking a lot of the new additions, and we're just about to hit our very first actual update of the season. Remember, the trios was actually just a hot fix. We have things like Poison Sumo Slap and some other things that need an actual update to adjust and fix, and that's right around the corner. So what can we look forward to in that update and beyond throughout the rest of the season? We're gonna look at the roadmap real quick, decipher that, make sure we know what all that means. We're gonna talk about this next update, the holiday update, and then we're gonna see what the rest of Season 2 might hold. In the very first update, we're able to see two important things. First, at the bottom, we have these specific milestones, which started with launch, trios, which we just had, holiday, which is up next, New Year's, mid-season quads, and quads. Then we have all the icons in the various milestones. This is the first launch roadmap update. We've been able to tell what all these icons mean. Crates mean items, the book silhouette is new moves, and the spiky icon are new perks. We also had all these circle icons, and we've been able to tell that those actually stand for new game modes since they coincide with those different milestones. And that was confirmed with the launch of Trios mode. I didn't get to experience nearly as much of Trios mode as I wanted to, but let me know what you thought down below, and if you like the new Popcorn Party item and the new Pocket Dimension perk. The Popcorn Party is that area of effect healing item. Found it very useful just using it in solos. Anything that can get you health in this game is an item that you want to have in your pocket. And speaking of pockets, I think Pocket Dimension is a really interesting perk. I'm not sure that I got to use that so much either, but being able to fill your pockets with crates or any number of large weapons or items, switches things up a bit. So the Trios update came even sooner than what I expected, even though if you look at the milestones down below, it does kind of coincide with the months. They're keeping that time. And so holidays is just around the corner. It's the next one. We had about a week break. We've recently seen this tweet talking about the festivities next week. It's showing the crates have bows on them. We're seeing like Christmas trees, a lot of Christmas vibes, and we're seeing a little bit of snow in Capital City. But this is where I have to say, spoiler alert, for legal reasons, all of the things I'm about to say are very strong feelings I get about things we might see in the game. The following info comes from the game itself and from the Rumbleverse Twitter, leaking things right underneath your nose. If you want to experience the game as it happens, which I totally encourage, by the way, don't watch this video anymore. You can turn it off. You can go watch one of my other Rumbleverse videos instead. But if you do want a sneak peek at what's next and to know what some of these tweets have meant or could contain, feel free to keep watching. One more thing before I share this info with you, I want you to keep this in mind. Iron Galaxy is not a huge team. Anything shared in this video is subject to change. You might see it. You might see it later, you might see it in the future, you might never see it. Some of the things contained in the game are just for the devs' use to try out things that they're playing around with, ideas that they're working with. We may never see them in a working version of the game. It's all subject to change, but I won't tolerate any disrespect towards the devs because maybe they didn't include something that you got your hopes up for. This is all just learning the game with them and seeing what they're working with and playing around with for knowledge purposes. And by that I mean, these are all guesses. I don't know anything. But stay respectful to the team making our fun Brawler Royale, please. Holidays, personally one of my favorite times of the year. The music, the gift giving, the snow. And remember that tweet with the snow? I hope you like snow. Because Rumbleverse is going to give you some snow. And I hope you like what comes with snow, the snowballs. Our next limited time mode looks to be some kind of snowball event. There's going to be various sizes, really small, medium, and large. They're going to look like snowballs. I don't think we have an actual file yet. Season 2 introduced a lot of throwing items, so this is just going right in line with that. With all the bows and stuff on the crates from that tweet, it looks like it's going to be even bigger than what I thought they might do. I feel like they're really pushing things ahead with Season 2 and showing us what they can do with the game, which is very cool. I didn't necessarily think we were going to get like a real solid Christmas event this soon in the game's life cycle. So I'm really excited to see what Capital City looks like all decked out for Christmas. We're seeing some snowfall in that tweet. Is the whole city going to be covered in snow? Are there going to be snow piles? I don't really see any in there. That's up in the air. But as long as they give me a Santa suit, if I can be buff Santa in another video game other than Fortnite, I'll be happy. As for the other limited time modes that are coming up, it's hard to say what mid-season quads is going to mean. I'm not sure. I know Shinlad thought maybe the holiday event could be a Fight the Kraken event. Is that what mid-season quads is? I don't know. Everyone wants to know about the Kraken. I don't have that much info about the Kraken. The only other event that I could find any mention of is something called a balloon run event. But if the confetti and party streamers are any indication, I'm in. We have a ton of items, moves, weapons, and perks, some of which Rumbleverse has been revealing right underneath our nose. Starting with items, we have a little extra info on something we've already seen. You might have seen that gold-covered chicken in some of the promo videos. This golden chicken is listed as large in the game, so you might need pocket dimension in order to actually carry them around. There's no word on the bucket of fries yet, but pizza could be entering the game as another health item. Then we have another item that Rumbleverse has tweeted right in front of our faces. And you might not thought anything of it, but as far as I can remember and tell, every time Rumbleverse shows a screenshot of any of the characters in the game, it's all stuff that you can do in the game. It's not them animating the characters to do something fun or, outside of the game. It's all in-game assets. What were these items? They were a dumbbell and a barbell. You might remember I mentioned barbells being on the weapon vending machine that you can easily see when you're on the battle barge. From these tweets and what else we can see, I'm not sure they're weapons. The weights themselves aren't actually found under the weapons category in the game. It's actually listed under magazines with skills. Looking at the tweet and then connecting it with this phrase in the game that says arms, cores, leg, big, could these weights give you a boost in any of your powder use? Maybe doubling up your efforts from any pod that you take. And looking at the tweet, he's using a dumbbell while taking a arms pod at the same time. Is especially interesting because we haven't seen any kind of like dual wielding or anything similar from any other moves or items in the game. Onto moves, we have some details on the roar move that we saw in the season trailer. It'll come in 3 tiers, with the second 2 being chargeable like we've seen with other moves. It provides a team buff to damage, stamina, and health, and provides a knockback effect, which should be pretty useful in trios and quads. Details on the other moves aren't quite as clear. We have a few move icons with very few details about each. There's a move called Liberate, and the game mentions keys, coins, wallet, and empty pockets. This might explain some brief trailer footage with similar items looking like they're popping out of the characters, but it sounds like it'll empty the pockets of anyone you use it on, and whether that means you can get their items or it's beneficial in some other way, we'll have to wait and see. But then there's a tire icon with the letters FPO on top of it. It's not clear if there's even a move in the game that this currently connects to, but FPO is actually a design term. It means for position or placement only, and actually indicates that it's a placeholder not yet finished. But what do you think a move with a tire icon could be? Lastly is a move that Naruto fans might recognize. It's called Kawarimi. There's actually very little detail in the game besides the name. Kawarimi is described as a body replacement technique where a ninja substitute themselves with anything that might be mistaken for them, like a dummy or a mannequin. In Naruto, it's used to turn into less obvious objects like logs. Could this mean that we're getting a prop hunt mode or prop hunt-like ability? Upcoming weapons include the broom that we saw in the season trailer, which is going to come in 3 varieties like a lot of other weapons. It's going to have 5 different kinds of attacks, I think similar to the Keybat, and obviously that vicious sweep that we saw in the trailer. Speaking of Keybats, there's also a locked crate radar listed under KB, so that Keybat might soon lead you to some special loot, plus help you obliterate your opponents. And I'm not sure where to put this because it could be a weapon or a healing item, but coconuts. Coconuts could be in the game soon. They don't look that detailed yet though. And last but certainly not least are the perks. Some of the perks have been in the game since last season, so it's hard to say if we'll see them throughout the rest of this season or if we might start to see perks get vaulted and rotated out soon. Starting with the perks that have been around for a while, we have Optimized, which gives you a point and another stat every time you take a protein pod. So you pop an arms pod and you also get legs. I think there might be a reason we haven't seen this perk yet, might not count on it coming to the game. Then there's Eagerness, which gives you double stat points from a single pod, so 1 arms pod actually equals 2, kind of a 2-for-1 deal. I think that might be more welcome than the random addition of Optimized. That could be connected to the barbell or dumbbell scenario, or that could be something that they're looking at to replace the idea of this perk. Cliffhanger would see climbing costs reduced by 30% like a lot of our other moving perks, and I think that's a welcome addition with all the verticality and low kiki. Lumped in with perks, we have a new status effect, Burned. You are burned, quote unquote. Like Poison, I think this was going to be a damage over time effect. It could come from newly activated lava. You know, I think there's a volcano somewhere on low kiki. Or it could come from another upcoming perk called Hot Hands, where you periodically gain Flaming Fists. We might not be getting fireballs or fire uppercuts or fire breath just yet, but you might have Hot Hands soon. And if I can't have a fireball attack, that's kind of the next best thing. Hot Hands. Fun to say. There's Rude, which would give a 20% damage buff anytime you taunt near opponents. I'm guessing taunt means emote. So superstar and bonus damage, pretty good perk. Speaking of doing more damage, the Guts perk would see you do 20% more damage when your HP is critical. Something I saw that actually made it into the game accidentally was something called Trickster, and it's the rabbit in the hat, which is actually the original icon for Pocket Dimension that made it into the game, I'm guessing accidentally. Look for that to be patched out on the next update. Lastly, under the perk front is this little fist icon listed under pickups. It could be perk XP that you pick up, possibly part of an LTM. Could we see that in quad, since there's actually fewer people to do damage to earn your perk XP? What do you think about them adding a pickup for perk XP? Do we need it floating around the island? Well, I hope I haven't completely ruined Season 2 for you. If you're still watching, it's your own fault. Even if we get all these things throughout the season, there's no telling exactly, what order or what we're gonna get when. And not to mention the fixes like Poison Sumo Slap and the other adjustments they're going to make throughout the game. So there's still plenty of surprises in store. I had some fun poking around the game, but let me know what you're looking forward to the most and if you want to see more videos like this. But until next time, I'll see you at Ice Cream. Oh, I didn't even get to mention this tweet, which looks like we could see pins introduced into the game. We might need more stamina.